Matthew, the undead king who is once immortal, who's been cursed by the touch of decompose from inhumanoids, and then decides to embark a journey to cure his condition and get revenge on a monster who cursed him for the entire journey of regain and revenge. This is an OC that I made for a follower of mine on YouTube named Matthew D. The story begins in 2023, the same year when the Inhumanoids, who would end up becoming in stock footage fighting videos for an eternity. Matthew is a huge retro junkie like I am myself, who is a fan of the Inhumanoids and old retro and classic shows like Street Sharks, TMNT, Dino Squad, and others. However, after the Inhumanoids have freed themselves out of the Toronto Skydome Stadium and tried to make their way to escape and started planning out their way to get the revenge against humanity. After they were sent back into the Earth back in 1986, Matthew went up to decompose, with himself being amazed about that the Inhumanoids are actually real, but not in the way he was hoping for. Just before Matthew can take a picture of Decompose, Decompose picks him up, and then he touches him with his claw and says, Matthew now panics and fears of his transformation into an orange reskinned version of Decompose and immediately attacks the Inhumanoid Decompose just before the trio could escape from him while trying to escape the sunrise, and then the Inhumanoids retreat into the earth, leaving Matthew on the surface to be the only one seen by people's eyes, and then starts to run as fast as he can, and became more faster than he ever ran for his entire life. As days went by, Matthew became more depressed and sad because of the mutation that Decompose inherited to him, which caused his entire life to be in jeopardy. Every time he tries to ask anybody, they will immediately scream in horror because of Matthew's appearance as a mutated zombie monster, and every time he tries to touch somebody, they'll immediately mutate into a zombie who became a servant to him. But he doesn't want any servants. All he ever wanted is to be normal again and relive the life that he used to be before his mutation incident. So he decides to plot out a plan to get revenge on the Inhumanoid who mutated him. He invites a cult of teenagers to be prepared to attack Skull Web, which is the kingdom and home to Decompose. After traveling through the tunnels to Skull Web, he finally comes face to face with Decompose and the other two Inhumanoids named Meddler the leader and Tendril the muscle, as the battle between Matthew and his zombie army against Decompose's army with Meddler and Tendril being dragged into the fight progresses. Decompose and his army finally get defeated by Matthew, and his army, emerging victorious, pushes Decompose off a cliff with the other Inhumanoids. But they ultimately survived and decided to retreat, and failure to take over the world and reclaim revenge on humanity, which they'll probably continue. Again, Matthew then decides to roar in triumph and frees his zombie warriors from their cursed condition by using sunlight upon them. and lets them go back to their own lives as teenagers again. Matthew tries to use sunlight to cure himself, but then realizes that the mutation has become immune to it, which makes him disappointed about it. But on the other hand, proud, because despite the curse that he got from Decompose, the powers that he has given the advantage to form armies and others, and yet he still feels like his old self. But since he doesn't have his original life anymore, it's always a good thing to start a new one, and then he decides to call himself for his newfound powers as Matthew the Undead King. Like, subscribe, comment, follow, and welcome to the society. Well, even thank you for watching the video.